I'll try and give you the sort of core of Buddha's teaching, and then some like practice that's very practical and you can use if you want. If you don't want, no problem. So basically, Buddha only taught two things: the cause of suffering and the end of suffering, how suffering appears and how we can bring it to an end or transform it. And he also said, don't believe anything just because I say it, or because a person of authority says it, or because it's written in a book that everybody praises. You take any teaching, test it out yourself. If it seems to be true and beneficial, then use it. If it seems to you to not be true or not beneficial, then discard it. So, that's very nice. It kind of trusts our intelligence to make our own judgments by, how can I say, by making use of it and trying to verify whether it really helps us or not. Basically, Buddha had this big question: what am I? Did you guys ever look in the mirror and think about, who are you? I remember being about 8 years old, and it's like, who are you? And I keep repeating my name, the name my parents gave me, in different ways, break down the letters, and thought, what do these sounds have to do with me? And that's the heart of it. What are you? What are you? You can say any gender. You can say ethnicity, what country you come from, what religion you are. Oh, I'm a happy person, I'm a depressed person. But those are just qualities. Who is it that has those qualities? All those qualities is just, we say, your karma. For various reasons, you have this form, the situations, and the way your mind and emotion works. That's your karma. It's habits that we've made in the past and that we make now, and they just go on. So the root, basically my mind, which includes the form, my feelings, my emotions, my situation, makes my world. I don't know, but if I try to remember being 20 or something, my biggest concern was the world. What can I do? But, just like now, it's worse now. But it was pretty bad when I was growing up in some sense. The Cold War, civil rights, the Vietnam War, and, I was your age and very involved in those things, just as I'm sure you're very involved in the issues of your life, personal and social. But in Buddha's teaching, my experience of my world is made by me. And if we become clear, then even a bad situation doesn't have to make us suffer. And if you're clear, you can connect with any situation in a way that it's like you're liberated and you can function harmoniously in a way that brings benefit to yourself and to anyone in the situation. So it's really, for me, it's like the root of freedom and liberation. And that's what it was about, When Buddha was alive, the ideas in Hinduism was this universe appears, and all this stuff, animals, people, everything, goes on a really long time, disappears, and then happens again, and disappears and happens again, endlessly. And even within one universe, everyone is constantly reborn. If you behave like an animal, you're born as an animal. And then if you sort of clean up your act, then maybe you're born as something else. But we're trapped in this, what's called samsara, that it just goes on and on and on, life after life after life. And even Buddha looked at himself. I'm a prince. I don't have to go to university. I'm going to be a king. When I am a king, I have money, I have power. If you have money, you can get a good partner. And, he had it much better than we did. But he was really struck by the suffering he saw that is basically independent of situation. birth, getting sick, getting old, dying. Even K-pop people do, Everybody does. Rich people do. So those 4 fundamental sufferings. Also, being separated from those you love, being with people you don't like, what we call in Buddhism, imbalance of the 5 skandhas. That means a human being, it's described this way, is basically just a pile of forms, feelings, perceptions, impulses, and consciousness. We call that I, but we make that up. So I doesn't originally exist. It's made by our thinking. So you look into, what am I? And we say, and if you really look into it, you'll probably realize you don't know. And that's the heart of Buddha's practice. He didn't know for 5 years, 6 years. And he paid attention to all the experiences, looking for this permanent I, and couldn't find it. Then one day he saw a star, became one, and got enlightened. So our true nature doesn't appear, doesn't disappear, beyond life and death, and takes any form according to conditions. That's all. And it's the substance, the very nature of the universe, the substance of the universe. You can call it mind, or Buddha, or God, or nature, or energy, or substance, or consciousness, or emptiness, or everything. You can put any name on it, but it's before thinking, which means it's before any name. This is tea, so we can call it tea or cha, but it's not tea or cha. And the only way you really know what it is become one with it. It's the same thing about ourselves. And the thing is, the true nature is always clear, pure, and can become anything. So you can adjust to situations when we're clear and connect. And I'm sure you all do it sometimes. It's very satisfying. Did you ever, like with your parents, something's bumming you out, and you suddenly get where they're coming from, and you can connect. I became a monk when I was 33, and I left home when I was 18, and I would visit my family every year. And of course, at some point, every time I'd visit, hang out for a week, my mother would say to me, when are you coming back here? And I'd always explain, I like the Zen Center, I want to live in the Zen Center stuff. 10 years, I couldn't answer the question. And one day I'm hanging up a coat after lunch, and in the hallway, she suddenly says, when are you coming back here? Why you live in that Zen Center? And it was like warm air hitting me. My mom was short and round. So I put my arms around her, squeezed her, and said, Mom, I love you. I kissed her on the cheek, and she went, ooh. She never asked me the question again. She wasn't asking me when I'd come back there. She just wanted that phoomp. Then she changed the question the next year. She'd say to me, you could teach in a university. And then, of course, I couldn't give a very good answer then either. I said, I like the temple. I want to teach in the temple. This went on for another 5 years or so. Then one day I visited, and I thought, I'm just going to do everything she wants me to do. You can think about your parents, and every parent has their thing. My mom's thing was, if you make the bed, it has to be like really smooth. You can't have the blanket go like this. Or if you close the drawer on the bureau, it's got to be lined up perfect. It used to drive me nuts. I think, it doesn't matter, But this time, I was about 60. She was like 85 or something. I'll do everything she wants, So everything, I just went along with it. We did the laundry together and everything. We're carrying it back after about 5 days. And of course, she always brings up these questions when you're not expecting it. She said, you could teach in a university. And I didn't have a very good answer. So I said, I don't want to teach in the university. I like a temple. Then she said, you could teach Buddhism. That's a big win. That means I went her way and she went mine. So, connecting, why are people crazy? Why do people get so angry? Why do people kill each other? Cannot connect. Holding on to some idea. So in Buddhism, all suffering comes from craving and attachment. If you can take away your craving and not be attached, you can connect. And that takes away your suffering and other people's suffering. So how can we do that? First, you have to learn how to pay attention. You guys were just sitting, right? What was it, 20 minutes or something? The job the universe gives you is sit and breathe. You don't have to have a single thought. Yeah, when you're studying, you need to think. When it's time to talk about something, you need to think. But when you were sitting, you didn't need to think at all. But I bet everybody here was either thinking or falling asleep, which is another kind of thinking, Your energy goes up and then you're like this. So that is your karma. That is your mind habit. I was invited to teach a class in meditation at Harvard Divinity School. So I thought when I went there, these people are much smarter than me. So I don't want to talk about the philosophy of Buddhism and God and all this stuff. So I just taught them to sit, breathe in and out, and count each breath up to 10, and then start again at 1 and count to 10. And if you make a mistake or you lose your count, start again at 1. And then after about 15 minutes, we talked about it. And most people were like, oh, I could do it, And other people were like, oh, I can't believe it. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 5. You try it yourself. It's very interesting, You can't focus on a simple thing for a length of time. But one woman was so interesting. She said, I was raised fundamentalist Christian. And the whole time we were sitting, I was thinking, I'm going to go to hell. I'm following a Buddhist monk. And then I thought, all this guy told us is to breathe and count to 10. She saw this habit thinking. That can change your life. Awareness itself changes things. Just being aware exactly what you're doing. But it's not so easy because we spend so much time in our opinions, in our feelings. We don't know how to pay attention and really just see each thing without some desire about it. I don't like that or I like that. So a first point, I'm going to give you a tool. It's called ABCDE, so it's easy to remember. And I have to say, credit my Dharma sister, a Chinese nun in Hong Kong, because she made this one up. A is attention. Learn to pay attention. Of course, you guys are smart kids and you go to school and you pay attention. But yeah, you can pay attention when you're doing something you like, but it's hard to pay attention when you're doing something you don't like. Or when you're doing nothing at all, just sitting here. But pay attention. You can see floor's yellow. If the cat meowed outside, you'd pick it up. If somebody coughed, you'd catch it. If you're clear, you'll catch it without thinking about it. But if you're deeply involved in some thought, you won't. You won't realize what's going on, and you probably won't even see your own thought. So first is learn to pay attention. Then one great way to train yourself to do that is be breathing. Be aware of your breathing. When you're breathing in, when you're breathing out. This is one of the fundamental points that Buddha taught in meditation, awareness of your breath. Because one thing you'll do from the moment you're born until the moment you die is breathe in, breathe out. So at any moment, any time, if you want to get your attention back in the present moment, be aware of your breath. That immediately brings you back to the present moment. You may still have some garbage going on, but at least part of your attention is right here, right now. I was invited to the local Catholic church when they had some big event, and the priest gave a talk, and somebody had to translate it for me. But it was interesting. He didn't mention God. He didn't mention Jesus. The main thing he said was, depressed people are living in the past, holding something from the past. Anxious and nervous people are living in the future. The only people who are happy are living in the present. And that's not easy because we're constantly going back, going forward. But we can train ourselves to pay attention now. You know, you ever look at these videos of these guys who do this wing gliding? You know, and they get going really fast and go next to these cliffs, and once in a while somebody crashes and then they don't do it anymore. But why do people do those things? One reason is it automatically brings their mind to the present moment. That's why some people always want to go into a dangerous situation. But if you can do that in any situation, you'll start to notice things you didn't. What was that wave of heat I got from my mother that time? It was simply our minds becoming one without me being aware of it. And then boom, the speech that put her at rest appeared. My teacher used to say, originally everything's empty, but we always make something. We made this body, then we make thinking and emotion, and then we build up these situations. If you return your mind to this before thinking nature, then your mind and others people's mind automatically become one. Before you even think, I can see your mind, that's already too late. And it happens, you guys do it already sometimes. We just don't notice it usually, and we don't nurture it. Sports people do it all the time. I looked up Utah sports. You guys have an amazing women's gymnastic team. Something like every national championship there's ever been, Utah's the only college that always went there. Anybody a gymnast here? You all know how to walk, right? So you're gymnasts. You can walk, you can sit down, you can put food in your mouth. It's pretty, be happy. I love this line in one of Paul Simon's songs. He said, sitting under the stars, playing my guitar, just thanking the Lords for my fingers. You want something amazing? Look what you grew. This is amazing. You can go poop, 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 poop. There's very few creatures on earth who can do that. You're really bummed out sometime, like really, oh, my life sucks, I want to die. Then just, wow. That's pretty amazing. So, second is breathing. Any situation. I used to go up to Seoul a lot. I have to go tomorrow too, and ride the subway. And my favorite thing was to sit or stand. Most of the time I was standing, and just breathe in, breathe out. And I'll show you a way to breathe that's really beneficial. And then watch people. Like 70% of the people are on the phone. And they're probably doing something that doesn't matter to their life at all. I looked at TikTok. Wow, does that just swallow you up? Like, wow. And it's short. That's cool. Okay, some crazy dance. Oh, look at that dog. Wow, he's so unhappy. Oh, he's happy. It's amazing. I'm so glad I'm not young now. I just get swallowed by that stuff. We actually had to walk over to our friend's house to talk to anybody. So, breathing. Anytime, any place, even right now. Listen to this guy, I got to listen to this for how much longer? Well, breathe in, breathe out. The Buddha said all true joy comes from being in the present moment. Happiness is more like dependent on circumstances, although that's just playing around with words. But even if you're have a problem, but you're really in the present moment, not trying to get out of it somehow, not even necessarily trying to solve the problem, but just there with it. I don't know why, but something inside is like complete. So we'll try something now. Everybody sit in some comfortable position, if you can. And not meditation position, just something comfortable. Stick your legs out or, whatever. Then in East Asia, people say that the body's energy center, the original energy center, is 2 centimeters below your navel. Chinese people call it dantian, Korean people tanjan. It means energy garden. And actually, in our mother, we grow from here. So everybody in the world, your body's original energy center is just below your navel. When we're born, everybody's energy center moves here to your mouth. So everybody knows what babies are like. Anything they can grab, they stick in their mouth. Around 1 or 2 years old, it moves up here. Opposite thinking, me and you. I like, I don't like. I want, I don't want. Good, bad, hot, cold, everything. All human problems come out of that opposite thinking, because it's not based in reality. It's created by me and my karma. And it usually leads to, happiness, suffering, happiness, suffering, happiness, suffering. So this practice is return your energy to your center. Anything that the energy is high is easy to knock down, difficult to come back up. But if your center's low, even if you get knocked down physically, emotionally, mentally, it's not so hard to come back up. Also, we say this is thinking center. If you have many thinking, many desires, you'll have many suffering. If all your energy goes up here, you'll go to a mental hospital. This area is emotion center. If you have too much emotion, then this thinking appears very strongly. I like this, I don't like this. This is good, this person's good, this person's bad. That kind of thinking will appear. But if you return your energy to your lower belly, that's digestion center. It's also do it center. And we call it don't know center. This mind that doesn't know, that isn't holding any opinion, just paying attention. Then information's coming in. And we're all born with that mind. I'll talk about that a little later. So, okay, you're in some comfortable position, or not. Put your finger 2 centimeters below your navel. Then when you breathe in, let your lower belly come out. Just relax it, like you're, 3 months pregnant or something. Good experience for the guys, okay? Breathe in. Then when you breathe out, a little bit pull your lower belly in, or push with your finger. So, by pushing with your finger a little bit, you feel this, and that helps you put your attention there. And make your exhale about twice as long as inhale, but in some rhythm that you can sustain. So in the beginning, you can just follow my voice. Breathe in, lower belly comes out, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. A little bit poke yourself so you bring your attention there. Breathe in, relax, breathe out. Let go of everything. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Slowly breathe out. And relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Tension in your lower belly, Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay. How did that feel? If human beings usually breathe 16, 20, when we get nervous or angry or something, 24 times a minute, very slow, very quickly. I didn't have a second hand here, but when I usually do it with people, I start out at about 6 a minute, then 4 a minute, then 3 a minute. If you slow down your breathing, you can begin to digest your emotions and your thinking. It's just digesting your emotions, your thinking, your body condition. It's just like digesting food. Even if you eat excellent, healthy food, but you don't digest it, it will become rotten and make you sick. But even if you eat bad food, but your digestion's strong, it just becomes live energy that you can do anything with. In the same way, any emotion isn't good or bad. If you digest it, it just becomes clear energy. And if you connect with the situation, you bring harmonious energy to the situation that brings benefit. And it happens moment to moment. So don't think about changing everything. If you can return your mind to moment mind and start to become clear, automatically things will function better. And that's the most important thing. We all want that. It's not dependent on the outside situation. Failure can be one of the best things that happens to us when we're able to digest it, which everybody can do, but it may take months or years, and some people never do it. They hold on to, blame themselves or blame others. And blaming is always disconnected from reality, unfortunately. And boy, when I read the news, that's one of the main things that's happening nowadays. In the public sphere, people blame everything on other people. And there will never be solutions. Yeah, one group will be on top, and then later the other group will be on top, but no matter what happens, people will mistreat each other. So if you want to see your life clearly and actually be able to get more satisfaction, regardless of outside circumstances, even if you're dying, even if big shit happens, take away blame mind and return your attention here. My teacher used to say, the outside world will never give you peace, equality, or freedom. If you want peace, equality, and freedom, you must look inside. But if we become clear inside, then our relations become clear. And it doesn't matter what they are. You'll find a kind of peace and equality. Even with bad people. I don't mean they'll change, but you'll be able to function in a way that is beneficial. That's pretty amazing. My teacher was so interesting. I'm so glad that I got to spend time with him. His center was very strong. And one reason I liked him is he was emotional, but his emotions always seemed to fit. And he wasn't controlled by them at all. It's actually strange. Like one time I was sitting with him someplace in the world, and because he traveled a lot, there were no hand phones, no internet, no personal computers. People would write him letters or call him up. And I remember one time we were just chatting about something. Somebody called him up, and he was like, some student, hello, some problem? What kind of problem? Listening. No, that thinking's no good. No, 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 that thinking cannot help you. No, put it down. No, 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 put it down. I said put it down! And then he turned to me. He was, bright red, Korean t-shirts used to swoop down. Everything was bright red when he was shouting, turned to me, 1 second, normal color, and he said to me, he's strong holding something, so I strong energy into. Want to be able to do that with people? Yeah, I can think of somebody I'd like to do that too. Kwan both. So, this breathing practice, really, do it as much as you can. Korean people say this universal energy, they call it daegi, great energy. Air, or space, is called kongji, empty energy, and our bodies have wangi. Each person has their own original energy. Oriental medicine will say the same thing, Any energy has a cycle. If your cycle is very busy, lots of thinking, emotion, and everything, then you cannot connect to the universal energy cycle. If you slowly breathe in, slowly breathe out, and practice it a lot over some time, then this universal energy, air energy, and your energy become one energy, hapki, harmony energy. Then this world changing, you can change too. Some of you may know that in China and Korea, they say a human being's life cycle is 60 years. You're born and there's an animal and a star for that year. And there's 12 animals and 10 stars. So they repeat every 60 years. So 60 years used to be considered a complete life. In Korea, people didn't live that long. When I came 40 years ago, they'd have a big party when they're 60. Nobody does now. Maybe 70, maybe. And then you're free. You can do anything you want. You did your job. Well, the universe has 6 60-year cycles. So 1983 was the end of one 360-year cycle, and 1984 the beginning of another one. Yang turning into yin. So it's no surprise in human society, woman power going up, man power going down. That's universal energy. But if you cannot connect, and you can see the people who don't connect with the changes that are happening. That's not just human beings' decisions. It's actually very lovely. That's called the Tao, T-A-O. If you just become one with the Tao, even getting sick and dying is okay. And you'll be peaceful. So, very important. Also, we don't know. Maybe human being species isn't going to make it in 500 years. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, let's not talk about it right now. But I will say one thing. I just found out in the mid-1800s, there was a woman scientist who was the first one who said the burning of coal, the buildup of carbon will heat up the environment. That's almost 200 years ago. When I was a kid, we already understood that. Not the coal thing, but we've got a problem. I remember in school, when I was in middle school, one of our teachers saying, I'm American, Americans are 6% of the population, and we use 60% of the resources. So I thought, everybody can't live like this. It's not possible, Something's wrong with society. I worked in a mental hospital before I started practicing Buddhism. I studied psychology, and the women were all depressed, if not schizophrenic. The men were bipolar. And you could see, with the women at least, they were intelligent, and all they were doing was being housewives. They didn't get a chance to use it outside the family. And then the kids start going to school, and then what, And I thought, this is a social problem. Our mind and our society aren't separated, And even our brain develops affected by the cultures we're in. It's not that there's a good culture or bad culture. Every single culture has some really good stuff and some not good stuff. I'm sure every culture has these things that you can use if your direction's clear. What is the direction in Buddhism? Understand myself, my true self, and help others. We say that's human beings' original job, true job. If we have that mind, any kind of body job's okay. But if we don't have that mind, we'll fight for body jobs, any kind. Like right now you have a student job, you have a son or daughter job, maybe you have a partner, you have a partner job. So our body job's changing all the time. We have a talking and listening job. Soon you'll have a go to sleep job, or you'll stay up late talking outside with a friend job, play with the cats if they aren't scared away. But if we find this true human job, understand ourselves, not just our karma, that's very important, but originally we're one substance. The whole universe is, of course humans are. And we just become this or that according to conditions. But like I said, test it out yourself. And the best way isn't these massive things, but just, does breathing, paying attention to my breathing, help me calm down? Help me see myself in the situation better? Help me find a way through? Does learning how to pay attention help? Then 3, C, A, B, C, center. So I already talked about center. Best way to get a center is breathing practice. Long exhale, but smooth. D is very interesting. D we say don't know. Actually, we are don't know. Don't know is talking, don't know is listening. Then if you want to get in the karma, okay, I'm this guy and this country and this monk and you're this person and this student and, blah, blah, blah. That's just the outside form. But I don't even know how to point to this. It's before thinking, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, don't know. Another way to say it is curiosity. We're born with this mind. Babies react almost 100% to the sensations of their body. But something else starts happening after even a couple weeks. You've probably all seen or maybe had little brothers or sisters or something, when a baby's laying on its back and this thing comes in front of its face. It doesn't know what it is. This happened to all of us, And do you ever look at these kids, the babies, or even Korean kids? I went down to a coffee shop and this little kid was just looking at me. And they're just taking it in. And their mind has this openness and curiosity. If they had words, it would be, what is this? But it's before words. That's your don't know mind. That's your true nature. That has no life, no death. Okay, that's another thing. But that is how you keep learning. Because the world doesn't follow our idea, and other people also don't. But who are you? I used to see my mother sometimes just staring at me. And I never asked her, what are you thinking, I can imagine a mother who has a football player looking at, how'd that big guy come out of me? I remember him when he was this little thing. Look at him, Yeah, if you go home sometime, see if you catch your mother kind of like, who is that? They're looking at you like some kind of alien, And yourself, if you begin to look at yourself or other people or other situations with that kind of mind, you learn a lot. And you learn a lot about yourself too. Like I notice with little kids, if I go towards them or I say, "Anyang, anyang," almost all of them move behind their mother or father. But if I say, bye-bye, bye-bye, no problem. Then they wave. In fact, one little girl today, even when I was saying hello, she was just staring at me. But when I started to walk away and went, bye-bye, bye-bye, then she waved and she said bye-bye too. I'm sure she didn't know what it meant. It just copied the sounds, you know. So remember that. That's your one true thing. The rest is just karma by habit and stuff. That's your treasure. That's your liveness. Then you can go into any situation and learn and connect. You know, in Korea, I don't know nowadays, but you wear socks inside the temple. You don't sit with your feet pointed to older people and stuff. I bet you if you went to the Bedouins, and they probably have the same thing in the traditional society. It's just basic human, you know, connections. And if you don't know, but you pay attention, you'll start to pick it up. You don't need to know the language to get water. Everybody will understand. Everybody on the whole planet will understand. Actually, I like living in countries where I don't know the language. I have more interesting interactions. You know? So, A, B, C, D, C. Think of curiosity. That's easier than don't know. Don't know sounds like, oh, I don't know how to get to school. I don't know the answer to this question. It's not that. It's this open curiosity mind. You know, that's not focused on me. That's beautiful. So, A, B, C, C. E, enjoy. You know, enjoy each breath. Yeah, sometimes you're miserable. I know that. I have that too. And then it's hard to enjoy anything. But if you keep trying, things happen. You connect with somebody who understands you for a moment. And that is a relief. That is the moment of freedom of suffering. Moment to moment, very important. Okay? Actually, in Buddha's teaching in the Diamond Sutra, it says, past mind cannot be grasped. You can't hold the past. It's gone. You can think about it all the time. You can have it stuck in your body if you have some trauma, but it's gone. You're holding it. Present mind cannot be kept. As soon as we say present, it's past. Future mind cannot be gotten. So another way they say it is past mind can't get enlightenment, present mind can't get enlightenment, future mind can't get enlightenment. So what is yours? Moment. Moment. It's like that. What is moment? Actually, there's no past, present, and future. That's all made by thinking. What there is moment. What is moment? You go to a movie and things are moving and everything. Something's happening. You take the film out of the camera and there's individual frames and nothing's happening in that frame. If the frame that comes in front of the light is clear, the projector light, the movie's clear. If the frame that comes in front of the projector's light is not clear, the movie's not clear. Our life is the same. If this moment is clear, my life becomes clear. If this moment is not clear, my life becomes not clear. So Zen means attain moment. You know, when we think of eternity, we think of like a calendar that just goes on forever, you know. But I realize actually eternity is moment, because there is no outside thing like that. It's so interesting. So anyway, moment. And if you attain moment, some joy will appear inside. I broke my nose in a fight about 50 years ago, and I'd never got it fixed, and I couldn't breathe on one side. And one day I was sleeping about 20 some years ago in a room in Korea with another American monk, and when in the morning he said, you know, your breathing's terrible at night. And I said, yeah, I can't breathe out of this side. And then he told my teacher, and my teacher said, What problem? I said, it's not a problem, but I can only breathe out of this side. He said, soon fix. Okay. So I went to the hospital, I had an operation. And you know, if you guys have had, when I was a kid, all the girls who could would have nose jobs when they were 16. You know, that was like a thing. But in any case, I didn't have a nose job, but they did fix it. But they jam this stuff up your nose for like 5 days so it won't bleed. And it's really painful for a while, you know. So the first night I can't sleep and I go to the nurse and they give me some injection. I never had a painkiller before. And I was like, in like 10 or 20 minutes, no pain, fell asleep, loved it. And next morning, lots of pain, or maybe midday, they give me a shot. Oh, I love this, you know. And then nighttime, pain. So I go out to the nurse around, 11 o'clock or something, and I can't sleep. I want a shot. And she's like, can't have one till tomorrow. Then I go back to my room, and I'm laying there, and there's a kid in my room and his mom, they're both asleep. And I'm just like, So I'm a Zen monk, so I'm doing, you can't breathe through your nose, but I'm like, but I'm doing mantra. We chanted it, the great Dharani. It's the universal mantra, it's the mantra of the universal energy of compassion. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a bunch of sounds, but, at least it has a nice title. And my teacher did get enlightened chanting it, but he did an outrageous thing for 100 days and then got enlightened. But anyway, I'm doing that, and so it's 1 o'clock. It's not helping at all. So I take the bag, and the pole, and I start walking around the unit, doing mantra silently. And then it's like 3 a.m., not helping at all. So I thought I'd go watch television, maybe television will take my mind off it. So I go into the TV room, and there's a sign in Korean, no television, midnight to 7 a.m. So I sat down and I'm sitting there, and then very interesting, this thought appeared. My practice isn't working. And I caught it. I saw it appear. And right away I thought, that's not correct. Practice is clear. When I thought my practice isn't working, it meant it's not taking away the pain. That's not the purpose. It's to be clear. And then, right then, it was very clear. It's 3 a.m. My nose hurts like hell, and that's all. And then something we call wisdom appears. In Buddhism, they call it prajna, a Sanskrit word. I have nothing to complain about, really. It hurts, yeah, but in a few days, I'll be fine. And there's people in this hospital that are in more pain than I am, serious things, or maybe less pain, but they may go, they die. There's kids in here also. I have nothing to really complain about. So then I thought, okay, pain practicing, mantra and pain. And I really felt peaceful. It hurt, but my mind wasn't hurting at all. And I felt like, yeah, I'm very fortunate. And I think if we catch ourselves and make some space from what we want and see the situation better, that will benefit everybody. And if people really saw that themselves, people wouldn't kill each other. We wouldn't be crazy about money and all these other things. Buddha said, if people understood the benefit of generosity, they would never eat even a single meal without sharing it with another. So that's also one of the practices in Buddhism: generosity, correct conduct, perseverance, enthusiasm, meditation, and wisdom. It's called the 6 paramitas. But our style is go straight to what is my true nature? with the intention of understanding my true nature and helping others. And how find my true nature? Only go straight, don't know. So my teacher used to always sign his letters when people wrote him, I hope you only go straight, don't know, always everywhere, try, for 10,000 years nonstop, attain your true nature and save all beings from suffering. That's human beings' true job. So whatever you're studying, whatever kind of work you get into, the task of an adult, of people from about 20 to 60 is work and love. Not work like, oh fuck, I gotta work. No, what can I do to contribute to others? And we get money and can support ourselves from that. But that's one of the tasks, even in terms of our personal identity, is work. And what is love? It's not just like, you get a partner and stuff. It's my relationship with others. How do I treat others? You go into a store and buy something, it's a human being taking the money. Don't treat them like shit. Yeah, sometimes leave them alone, just pay and get it. Other times, how's it going? Anything. I probably am too friendly with people. I know the people who work in every coffee shop on this street. I can even tell you some of the people, they're married and this and that. I don't know what. I don't even speak the language much, but, be decent to the people that you bump into. In Buddhism, if you even touch clothing with someone on the street, it means you've been connected for 500 lifetimes. If you become the child or the parent of someone, you've really been connected for better or worse. I don't know you guys, but when I was a teenager, I used to, think about my parents. If you didn't make me, I wouldn't have to deal with all this. But that went away, and I think I was really able to connect with them very well when they were dying. It was quite fortunate. I think it totally came from practice. So main point is to look back. And then you can begin to see your feelings, your thoughts, and you see what's beneficial and what isn't. Takes time, but we have the whole life, And even if all you do is sometimes be aware of your breathing and in and out, you can help reduce your stress and develop your ability to pay attention when you're doing something. And that's beneficial. Okay, lots of talking. ABCDE, trying joy. Even if it's just, I still can breathe. One more moment of breathing. Oh, and yeah, that's pretty cool, man. It just blows my mind all the time.